and in some cases, years of campaigning all come down to this. We're on your side with the final results we have so far and a look at how the uncalled races are shaping up. We have a lot of results that are not final. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Shadd. The race everyone is watching is the one for president. It is still too early to tell who will be in the White House on January 20th, but we can tell you how Virginia and North Carolina appear to have voted. News Nation is reporting tonight that Vice President Kamala Harris is projected to take the 13 electoral votes in the Commonwealth. Again, that is a projection from News Nation. Associated Press has not called this race yet. We are still waiting on the final numbers, but it looks like it'll be a smaller margin than President Biden won in 2020. However, the opposite happened in North Carolina. Decision Desk HQ has called the battleground state for former President Donald Trump. That adds 16 electoral votes to his total, and he is currently ahead in the Electoral College as the early returns from Republican Southern strongholds favor him. Each candidate has set up an HQ in places that mean a lot to them. Former President Trump is hosting his election night party in Palm Beach, Florida. Trump is a Florida resident and voted there earlier today alongside his wife Melania. Vice President Harris and her camp are spending election night in Washington, D.C. She's having her election night event at Howard University, where she attended college. She'll be keeping an eye on the results from the presidential race all night long. It's one of the hottest congressional races now in the country. Republican incumbent Jen Kiggins and Democratic challenger Missy Cotter-Smalzl have had a pretty heated campaign. You have seen the ads, and you can see Jen Kiggins with a lead. 10 on your side's Chris Horn is live at Kiggins headquarters. So, Chris, what's the feeling there?
The feeling here, Tom, is that Jen Kiggins will be reelected to a second term. That's the feeling. Of course, the numbers will bear that out. She is representing this heavily military 2nd Congressional District. Of course, she is a former Navy helicopter pilot herself. With me right now is James Callan. He is a United States Marine Corps veteran. Mr. Callan, why was it important that you voted for Jen Kiggins?
Common sense.
Oh, yeah.
Common sense, secure borders, support for the veterans. What more can you ask for? She's amazing. Supported her when she first stepped on stage, right from the jump.
Now, Missy Cotter-Smalzl she's a retired Navy officer herself, but that didn't sway you at all?
Not at all. I see what party she runs with, and we know what that's all about. Open borders, men and girls sports, higher taxes. Who wants that?
Thanks very much. And a lot of optimism here at Weston in Town Center. 12-point lead right now in the early going. We'll see where the numbers take us the rest of the night. But right now, a lot of optimism here at Jen Kiggins' watch party. We're live in Virginia Beach. Now, Andy Fox is covering the Missy Cotter-Smalzl watch party as well. Andy, what's it looking like over there?
Well, they are still, people are really not even focused with what is actually going on in that campaign, because they continue to watch the big screen dealing with the presidential election and all that's going on with that. But it is starting to filter out that this is what we know, that right now Jen Kiggins is ahead in Accomack County, part of this district, with 68% of the vote. Chesapeake was 63%. She won Isle of Wight with 5,565 votes. Missy Cotter-Smalzl, on the other hand, won Franklin City by 637. Northampton about even right now, and Suffolk by 524 votes. Too much is out in Virginia Beach to tip it one way or the other on how this is exactly going to play out. But people, unfortunately, are not given the opportunity to see the 2nd District up there with the vote totals. But it is, from our reporting, starting to trickle out that right now, Missy Missy is behind right now in a lot of these areas where she will need to perform. I mean, Isle of Wight County, when you look at Isle of Wight County and you see that that she is behind by 5,565 votes, you know, you start to look, where's she going to make that up? She's got to make it up in Virginia Beach, and a lot of those precincts are still out. But right now, everyone here is optimistic. I had introduced you to the couple behind me. They were from Suffolk, where they went down to Suffolk, and they worked the polls, and they're very happy that they delivered Suffolk to Missy in this race. But there's still a lot of people waiting around for these Virginia Beach numbers to come in. Right now, advantage Kiggins for sure. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Andy Fox, reporting live from Virginia Beach. There are, of course, several other congressional races in our area. In the 1st District, Republican Congressman Rob Whitman defeated Leslie Matha. Whitman has held that seat since 2007. In the 3rd District, Democratic Congressman Bobby Scott will retain his seat in Washington after defeating John Sitka III. And in the 4th District, Democratic Congresswoman Jennifer McClellan retained her seat over Bill Mower III. McClellan was first elected to that seat in 2023 after the death of Don McEachin. We have a congressional race we're watching in North Carolina as well. This is the 1st District in the Tar Heel State. Don Davis looks like a pretty good lead right now, an 8 percentage point lead over Laurie Buckholt there in the 1st District of North Carolina. Another big race, the U.S. Senate seat in Virginia. Democratic Senator Tim Kaine faced challenger Hung Kao, a Republican. However, NBC News and News Nation have projected that Kaine will remain in that seat and go to the Senate for a 3rd term. 10 on your side's Brett Hall is live in Richmond at what is now Senator Kaine's victory party. Brett?
Well, Tom, you say victory party, but so far the campaign has said nothing. Now, it was told earlier tonight that Senator Kaine would not be coming out until the state was officially called by the Associated Press for Kamala Harris, and he is sticking true to that. I have not seen the Associated Press call Virginia's electoral votes for Kamala Harris. Other outlets may have, as you were talking about, but they are waiting for the traditional Associated Press, a long-standing beacon of projections. There have been a lot of Hampton Roads lawmakers in here. They've all kind of disappeared recently. I believe they're all backstage waiting to come out with Senator Kaine in a force. Senator Aaron Rouse, we saw Speaker of the House Don Scott, and as well as former lawmaker Delegate Jay Jones, former Delegate Jay Jones, of course Jones, as well as Rouse, hoping to run for Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General, respectively. So this, being with Kaine, is kind of that victory, that strong sense of force that they can come out with to start the 2025 campaign. That's right. We don't even know the results of 2024. People thinking about 2025. Such is the nature of politics. Again, a lot of the precincts in Hampton Roads have not reported. Only Suffolk has completed reporting its election day total. We're not talking early votes, election day total. So I think that's some of the reason the Kaine team, as well as others, are waiting to come out. As you just said, it's projected Congresswoman Jennifer McClellan would take her seat again. I spoke with her earlier. You can find that video on the Wavy Instagram page. She's also planning on coming out here tonight. But it's been a very slow night. I've spoken to several Democratic as well as Republican strategists who just say things are coming in a lot slower than we intended. And they, of course, made the joke. It's funny how we have so much technology now, and yet it seems to take longer than it ever has before. We're live in Richmond at yeah, Brett Hall, 10 on your side.
All right, Brett, point taken about the technology, that's for sure. This was a race featuring a very controversial candidate. Tonight we know who North Carolina's next governor will be. Democrats will remain in the governor's mansion. Attorney General Josh Stein defeated current Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson just moments ago. Stein, who is currently Attorney General, came out to speak to his supporters. Robinson came under fire after comments he allegedly made on porn sites after they came to light. Democrats have held that office since 2017. Now it is time to get to our mayoral races, the biggest one in Virginia Beach. Several candidates are in this race. At this point, current Mayor Bobby Dyer is ahead, but there's still a lot of counting to go. 48% of the precincts are reporting. 10 of your side's Ashley Knight joins us live. Ashley, what's up where you are?
Well, the party is still going on here at the West Inn over in Town Center, and I just want to echo what Brett said earlier about the results coming in slowly. You know, I was told earlier today that Virginia historically does a great job of being early in counting all the votes and getting those early results out, but tonight for some reason we've just been glued to our phones updating and trying to find, you know, those numbers that are coming down. But as far as this race goes, like you said, Bobby Dyer has a sizable lead. He's got 51 out of 108 precincts reporting so far. He's got a little more than 45% of the vote, and actually just since right a second ago, that has updated now. 55 precincts out of 108 have reported. He's still at just over 45% though, 19,354 votes coming in. The second is Sabrina Wooten coming in second with 27.61% of the vote. Now I asked him, Mayor Dyer, how he's feeling. He said he's confident, but not cocky. So he's waiting until all the results are in. He told me earlier that those mail-in and the early voting ballots would not be released until 11 o'clock tonight. And of course, we'll bring you those updates as we get them. So stay here, tuned to Wavy 10. We'll get you all those updates as they come in. Live in Virginia Beach, Ashley Knight, 10 on your side.
Thank you, Ashley. And of course, there is one question on every ballot across Virginia having to do with a tax exemption for certain veterans and surviving spouses of soldiers who died in the line of duty. As you can see, an overwhelming vote of yes by Virginians, so the amendment has passed. Night coverage continues on the south side. We are checking out two more big mayoral races there, starting in Portsmouth. Vice Mayor Lisa Lucas Burke and Harold Carruthers III were looking to unseat the incumbent Mayor Shannon Glover. Then on your sides, Markeisha Jackson is in Portsmouth now with this live report. Markeisha?
Yeah, Tom, this race has been very close so far. I'm here back at Roger Brown's, and this is where incumbent Mayor Shannon Glover is having his watch party for the night. And the crowd here, they are feeling good, as you can see here behind me. That's because so far, Glover is leading in this race with 87% of precincts reporting, but the night is still young. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see the crowd's excitement here behind me down here at Roger Brown's. Now, with 87% of precincts reporting, Glover has 9,353 votes, while Lisa Lucas Burke has 8,824. This race has been close all night, like I was saying. I was at Rivers Casino, which is where Lucas Burke is having her watch party, and there was quite the crowd there too. She even took the stage saying that the race is, quote, neck and neck, and it's not over until every vote is counted. And that is true. There are still votes being counted, so you guys be sure you stay with us on air and online for the very latest results on this race and all the others. Live in Portsmouth, Markeisha Jackson, 10 on your side.
Thank you, Markeisha. Now we head to Chesapeake Mayor Rick West up against City Council member Don Carey III. You get a look at the tally there. 10 of your side's Deja Parker has the latest from Chesapeake. Deja?
Tom, I'm here keeping an eye on the Chesapeake mayoral election, and so far about 42% of the precincts have reported. On the ballot, you have Mayor Rick West running against Councilman Don Carey, as you stated. I'll walk off screen so you can see the party here at Lockside Bar and Grill. And for these local election results, people are actually watching Wavy 10 on the Far TV over there. Voters came out here to support Mayor Rick West, who has about 62% of the votes right now, and Don Carey with about 36% of the votes. Now, this is the first Chesapeake mayoral election being held in November. I will be following these results as they roll in, and I'll have those updates on Wavy 10. Live in Chesapeake, I'm Deja Parker, 10 on your side.
A lot of noise on this election night. We will get you updated now on the race for mayor in Norfolk. Kenny Alexander is seeking another term in office, and you can see he has a sizable lead over Tommy Lehman Jr. for Kenny Alexander holding on to his seat. So that looks like a pretty strong race for Kenny Alexander with 50% of the precincts reporting.